Hello and welcome to English 496 Game Hacking. This is a senior seminar. I'm Dr. Tirrell and I'll be your instructor this semester. And the purpose of this brief video is just to give you an introduction to the course website, which contains information about policies, assignments, due dates, that kind of thing. Grade information actually is stored on Blackboard, but that's the only thing we use Blackboard for, so don't consult Blackboard for updates or assignments or that kind of thing, because it's really just the protected, secure place for us to get grades. So the way to get to the course website, it is linked here on the class Blackboard page. Eventually, this notice will go away and it'll just redirect to your grades. Right now, it has a link to the website. It has the two course textbooks that you'll need to buy. And you can get those from the bookstore or get them online or rent them or whatever. You just need to have them immediately because we use them right off the bat. So let's see, the course website. You can see sort of consistent features here. There's the navigation tabs up top. That's probably all the tabs we'll have. I don't think we'll have any extra sections in the future. Over here, there's information about the course. We meet Tuesdays and Thursdays, it looks like from 2 to 3:15. And then information about my office hours and me. So I'm in Morton 161, which is downstairs from our classroom. My office hours are Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12:30 to 1:30, and then Wednesdays 2 to 3. And you can also contact me by email or schedule an appointment if those hours don't work. This homepage just collects updates, any news or changes or that kind of thing. There probably won't be too many, but this is where they will go. The syllabus, you know what a syllabus is. It's the course policies. We're not going to go over it right now. I encourage you to do that because it is, of course, the policies that the course will abide by. You're also going to be signing a contract in order to stay in the class that indicates that you have read and understood and abide by the policies. You'll have to do this in order to stay in the class. This has things like the book and grade distribution. We use a point system, unsurprisingly, I guess, given the subject matter. And then we do use plus minus, that kind of thing. So do look through this before our first meeting so you know the course policies. And I will ask about questions, questions people have about this. So the assignments here, this breaks down. There's kind of two major, I suppose, categories that are broken down. So main projects, which are, 100 points apiece, so they're a large component of the grade. We're not going to dive into these, but you can see how they're structured in terms of a summary, what you have to submit, and then any resources that are appropriate. That'll probably expand. I mean, these will get a little more fleshed out as we go through them. You can see this is a group project. And we'll be doing these sequentially, you'll see on the calendar. So we'll go through these, one at a time as they pop up. What that means is you don't really have to know all these immediately. You probably should look through them, but we go through them sequentially. So, we'll be doing them in a concentrated way in class. So these are projects. These are design challenges, which are shorter. You can see they don't take as long. They're challenges, but they're not developed to the degree that projects are. And then we have short work like responses. That's sort of like a homework assignments that we do that correspond with readings. Should say that. And we will, because this is a senior seminar, we will have a cumulative electronic portfolio. We'll be using TaskStream for that. We should have access to it. It's something the university is piloting in our class because eventually the entire university will have access to it. Side quests here, that's like extra credit sort of things, although they're not linked to points directly. That'll probably expand a little bit as well. So do look through these when you have the time. Although, as I say, we'll be going through these things sequentially in class, so you don't have to, know all of these things immediately with the first day. So home syllabus and assignments, you'll probably consult these periodically. Calendar, however, you'll be looking at all the time. I mean, this is the central page, excuse me, for the course website because it articulates everything we're doing on a particular day, everything that's due. You know, it tells you where things are going. This is the entire, semester right here. So you really just need to follow along. This is, if not the most important, certainly the most frequently consulted page that you'll be using. So you can kind of see how this breaks down. As it says, Thursdays are gray, Tuesdays are white. That just sort of helps you break this up. You can see on any given day what's due for that day and then what the course agenda is for that class meeting. So you can see by the first day, I do want you to read through these links. These are just short links about, the subject matter. So, this talks about board games the CIA uses, kind of interesting. Use of Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games in applications like therapy. This is for children in therapy. Role-playing games are used because it allows them to, treat themselves as an object in a way that is therapeutic, but also is non-threatening. In the sense of a personal stake. You get to create a kind of persona. And you read through these because it sort of addresses some of the subject matter. I'm sure that's a question you have right now is, what are we actually doing in this class? What's the subject matter? We'll talk about that on that first day, but I want you to do a little prep work in advance. So you'll read those. You'll watch the course introduction video. You can check that one off because you're doing it. And notice it will be linked, although it's not because that's a time paradox. And then you'll need to print and sign the course contract, which I showed you already. Then in class, we're going to introduce the course. We're going to complete this course survey. You might want to take a look at that. We don't really have to do it until the class itself because I want us all comfortable using these forms because we're going to be using them a lot. And I also want to give you some information about these questions. So I'd prefer if you don't do it right now. Wait until that first day. And then we'll have a play experience. We'll be playing a few games as prep work for our first design challenge. So you can see how this works. Then you'll know your homework for the following Tuesday will be reading this. Reading this linked PDF here, which is it's actually a short book called the Board Game Remix Kit. I would have had you buy this, except it's no longer in print. It's very hard to find, except going through eBay or paying jacked up prices for used versions or whatever. So it's just here. I'd say don't mention it to anyone, but since it's no longer in print, I'm not sure who would sue. And then you'll be doing an associated response. We'll talk about this on the first day, but responses are those short homework assignments. So this obviously will correspond with that reading. You can see it announces that. So that's sort of how the calendar works. You just sort of see at a glance what we're going to be doing. Right now, very few things are linked. All of this stuff will be linked as we progress. I try not to put too many links except online things, in part because I don't want people to accidentally click the wrong stuff or go too far ahead and then, respond to something that we aren't completely ready to address because, we need more information. So someone will submit something and then, oh, by the way, here's what you actually need in order to do this. And so it'll be you have to redo it. To avoid those awkward situations, I just don't link things except sort of a week out. All right, that's the gist of it. We'll talk about this more on the first day, but this is an unusual class, I expect. If nothing else, I think it'll be interesting. I can't guarantee it's going to be fun. It should be, although we'll talk about that. Things aren't always fun when you're being compelled to do them. And it's not necessary that games are themselves fun. It's kind of an interesting point. Games can be, in a sense, simulations for teaching. I mean, that's potentially why humans and even other animals engage in games is as a simulation for other events, right? If you have a pet, young pets will play fight. That is, a lot of times preparation for higher stakes situations later in life. So we'll talk about the relationship of fun to games. Anyway, this course, I can't guarantee what kind of experience you'll have. I think it will be interesting because we're going to be doing a lot of interesting things. We'll be working with 3D printing and emulation and different things like that. Subject matters, if nothing else, unusual. But we will be, getting into these things critically. I mean, we'll be reading a couple of course texts like the game design reader, which a lot of it is, theoretical criticism and that kind of stuff. So, we will be applying a scholarly lens to this area. But I think it should be interesting and probably fun. And it will give you a lot of freedom to do a lot of creative things, to make stuff that you don't always have an opportunity to do in a lot of other courses, particularly in our major. Although our major is one where you do get to do you get to make a lot of stuff in our major. That's why I'm here. If you have any questions before the first day, you can always contact me by email. My address is up there. Office hours, those don't kick in until the semester starts. So email is the best way to get a hold of me if you have any questions before then. Otherwise, read these links. Don't go ahead, but, do what's due for the first day. Read those links. You're watching the video, and then print and sign the course contract because, I want you to bring that in so I can collect them on that first day. Okay, if you have any questions, shoot me an email. Otherwise, I will see you there, and we will jump right in. All right, see you, folks.